Cities 4.0 Conference 2020 coming up live shortly. Welcome everyone to the third Cities 4.0 conference and exhibition. It is delivered to you live in a digital format. I'm Bonnie Redzon, and I will be your host for this 4-day virtual conference. The theme for the conference is towards a sustainable, competitive, and disaster-ready city. It'll focus on providing updates and trends on smart cities development and introducing practical disruptive technologies for immediate adoption and implementation.
Yang berhormat Puan Hajah Zuraida Binti Kamaruddin, Ministry of Housing and Local Government of Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Datuk Dr. Muhammad Yusof Sulaiman, Chief Executive Officer, Malaysian Industry Government Group for High Technology or MITE. Sir Paul Yeo, Chief Executive Officer, Convex Hub. Distinguished guests, session chairs, speakers, delegates, and media friends. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon and a very warm welcome to this August gathering on the opening of the third edition of Cities 4.0 Conference and Exhibition, conducted in a virtual format as we adapt to the new normal during this pandemic. I am delighted to acknowledge that the organizers are able to react very quickly to embrace digital technology to ensure business and operation continuity and minimize downtime. As the saying goes, the show must go on, and industries must react quickly in order to stay relevant. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to take the opportunity to express our gratitude and heartfelt thanks to Yang Berhormat Puan Hajah Zuraida Binti Kamaruddin, Minister of Housing and Local Government, for officiating this virtual conference and exhibition. Also, my sincere appreciation to Tan Sri Datuk Dr. Engineer Tajuddin Ali, Joint Chairman of the Malaysian Industry Government Group for High Tech, or MITE, for supporting and ensuring the success of Cities 4.0 for the past 3 years. Ladies and gentlemen, the smart cities market is expected to grow due to the rising urban population, increasing demand for public safety, and growing government initiatives. Before the global lockdown, the global expenditure of smart cities for 2020 is estimated to meet the 124 billion US dollars mark, an increase of 18.9% from 2019. It is forecasted that the global smart cities market to reach 2.57 trillion US dollars by 2025. Although the disruption of COVID-19 may have temporarily slowed down deployments of smart city projects, especially in the emerging economies, experts believe the current cutback may be temporary. Ladies and gentlemen, this deadly pandemic has opened up an important debate regarding the effectiveness of current smart cities models and the readiness of our cities in mitigating impacts of the crisis. It has brought a new challenge to urban planners and designers to relook and rethink the smart cities strategies and technologies to be implemented. Efforts are being made to identify pillars that could radically reshape the future of built environment, where a city that is more sustainable, resilient, and disaster ready. Cities need to adopt a futuristic, practical, and inclusive approach we need to be able to deploy digital solutions that enhance functionality, resilience, and sustainability of our cities. And this should not be confined to mega cities like Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya, Kuching, or Johor Bahru, but also to include integration with secondary and third-tier cities. Such adoption will propel regional economic growth and competitiveness, promote social cohesion among communities, and achieve environmental sustainability to bring better quality of life for all Malaysians. Most importantly, to build cities that are smart city ready, able to mitigate and prevent future pandemics. It is with this principle in mind, the Cities 4.0 conference and exhibition is researched and structured to offer practical strategies and directions guiding urban development practitioners in building smarter and resilient built urban environment. Leading experts in smart city development will share best practices and enabling technologies which could be easily deployed in city, township, or urban development projects. I am pleased to note that every presentation and forum discussion for the next 4 days will be delivered on a real-time basis by leading experts from 4 different continents. Adopting the theme towards a sustainable, competitive, and disaster-ready city. The 4-day conference will focus on digital deployment in smart cities planning, improving living with efficiency, safety, and security, building a cleaner and sustainable city, effective transportation and mobility for all, disaster prevention and mitigation for a safer city, strategies in developing secondary cities into smart city. We trust that after this 4-day conference, our participants will leave with better understanding on smart city strategies, enabling technologies, offering different solutions with its cost to benefit for deployment prospects. On this note, I would like to once again express our profound gratitude to Yang Berhormat Puan Hajah Zuraida, Ministry of Housing and Local Government, for being here to deliver the opening address and grace the occasion. Our appreciation also goes to the Malaysian Industry Government Group for High Technology, MITE, for their team for working tirelessly to ensure the success of this conference. To our long list of endorsers and media partners, thank you for your support and trust in making this virtual conference and exhibition a success. Without doubt, the deliberations would not be complete without our session chairs, speakers from 4 continents, and I look forward to participating in the discussions and learning from your insights. To conclude, I wish all participants a fruitful discussion. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon. Greetings from MITE Partnership Hub in Cyberjaya. On behalf of MITE and the event organizers and supporters, let me wish you all a pleasant welcome to the Cities 4.0 exhibition and conferences 2020 with the theme Towards a Sustainable, Competitive and Disaster-Ready City. I would also like to extend my deepest appreciation to the organizers for inviting MITE to give this special address. I sincerely believe that continuing discussions and exchange of experiences between relevant stakeholders through forums such as Cities 4.0 is not only desirable, but critical. And I would like to note that this is truly a global event. This event is hosted for the 3rd time and aims to provide an interactive forum, platform for governments, municipalities, urban planners, developers, urban futurists, solution providers, and innovators to converge and discuss practical deployment of cutting-edge technologies in shaping sustainable, competitive, and resilient cities. In my own experience, new stakeholders will continue to be added and engaged as making of Cities 4.0 will impact on many sectors such as car ownership and deployment of drones, for example. Thus, the inclusion of automakers and drone operators. And the list will go on. Ladies and gentlemen, Cities 4.0 constitute a new planning paradigm for the fields of urban development and technology innovation to sustain the growth of local and regional socio-economies, as well as preparing for the inevitable disasters that may arise in various forms, such as the COVID-19 pandemic, flooding, and water shortages that will impact on quality of lives and livelihood for the city dwellers. During the second Cities 4.0 conference last year, the Ministry of Housing and Local Government, or KPKT, launched the Malaysia Smart City Framework. This is to streamline and coordinate smart cities development in the country. The framework has ensured a more informed guidelines and decision-making by the government, which takes into consideration views from all relevant stakeholders. In Malaysia, we have identified and supported smart city and state candidates such as Melaka, Iskandar Region Development Authority, Cyberjaya, and Putrajaya that are way ahead of other cities. The latest smart city initiative was the Melaka State Smart Grid Demonstration Project launched in September 2020, funded by UNIDO and the Global Environment Facility through MITE and KPKT. Since the launch of the Multimedia Super Corridor in the 1990s, Cyberjaya has positioned itself as the living lab and technology hub for smart city businesses. Likewise, Putrajaya for public sector delivery services. At the state level, the Sarawak government too is pushing forward deployment of the Smart City Initiative through the digitalization of public services and integrating smart management systems called Sarawak Pay. Of course, there are more examples that comes to mind. Ladies and gentlemen, as commented by the Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia at the recent Northern Corridor Advisory Council meeting, I quote, "We must make all states equal in terms of socio-economic development." I'm sure it is the same for cities. So let's make the cities equal but differentiated. And I'm often reminded by the quote made by Honorable Deborah Winsmith, the President of the Global Federation of Competitiveness Council, based in Washington, D.C., that cities must have a soul. So when we add all the digital elements into a city, we must conserve and maintain the soul of the city. To achieve the above, it will require a set of coordinated and synchronized actions implemented over a long-term period. City authorities especially need to play a proactive role as they are strongly linked to the communities and are all engaged in all aspects of planning, development, and management of the cities. With strong collaborations between all levels and segments of communities, NGOs, professionals, the private sector, as well as the government, our vision to become a sustainable urban nation will be a reality. Ladies and gentlemen, we are being reminded that 2020 is a significant and defining year as it marks the 5th year anniversary of the launching of the SDGs framework or Agenda 2030 that was unanimously endorsed by the 193 member states of the United Nations on September 25, 2015. With about 10 years remaining, let's put our minds together and increase our efforts and actions to create a better living for our future generations, which in many ways have been disrupted by COVID-19 pandemic, but also provided us with a golden opportunity now to make things right. Let's not waste it. With that, I would like to thank all of you for your participation and relentless pursuit for Cities 4.0. My special thanks to Yang Berhormat Puan Hajah Zuraida Kamaruddin, Minister of Housing and Local Government, for her leadership and support and agreeing to give the inaugural address and launching of Cities 4.0 2020. Let's make it happen. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalam wa ala asyrafil mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the third edition of Cities 4.0 Conference and Exhibition 2020. This year, the conference will be held virtually due to the disruption of the current health pandemic caused by COVID-19. Let me thank all of you forward-thinking co-organizers, the Malaysian Industry Government Group for High Technology, or better known as MITE, and Convex Hub Group for making the right move to shift this year's conference into virtual space as part of our efforts to flatten the curve under the Recovery Movement Control Order, RMCO. Ladies and gentlemen, the new challenge faced by cities worldwide requires a new set of solutions for every sector, including housing, health, infrastructure, transportation, land usage, and highly quality services that may boost the economy after how the COVID-19 crisis shocked the world. In response to such urgent economic needs, where employment is considered a key element for city growth, new approaches related to urban services has been mushrooming based on the latest technological advances. Smart cities are a multidisciplinary concept that encapsulates the information technology infrastructure and capacity to manage information and resources. In addition to a city's hard infrastructure of physical capital, we now increasingly rely on knowledge, communication, and social infrastructure, so otherwise known as human and social capital. Devices or apps that can sense, monitor, control, and communicate most of the city services like transport, electricity, environment control, crime control, social, emergencies, etc., are now assisting urban folks with managing their daily lives. In Malaysia's context, especially the pressing challenge of COVID-19, a city that is considered as smarter emphasizes on livability, sustainability, and competitiveness, preparedness and resilience in place, and an established crisis management center that is connected to a number of critical life data sources that enables a city to mitigate impacts and develop preventive measures using the information and communication technology, ICT, and the Internet of Things, IoT. Even though the smart city is a concept that has existed for nearly 30 years, it is but an ongoing process, as the development of smart cities is constantly changing with rapid new challenges faced by the municipalities, while new ideas, technologies, and inventions emerge every so often. With these new challenges and invention, we are no longer only deliberating about a city's core system, which consists of sufficient basic needs, transport, government services, education, as well as public safety and health. But we are also working on futuristic and forward-thinking cities, which emphasizes on sustainability and disaster readiness. Thus, we envisage smart cities that are integrated with advanced technologies in the city's services such as 5G connectivity, cashless economy, autonomous public transport, drone delivery, energy-efficient buildings, smart treatment of water and waste management, IoT-oriented tracking and tracing system, etc., so that we can improve the quality of life of our citizens and the public safety and health, and they can live comfortably in the era of Cities 4.0. Nevertheless, all these leave huge challenges to the municipalities in planning and developing cities. The authorities and planners must work to meet the basic needs of its citizens. At the same time, it is imperative to contemplate building platforms in forging collaborations between the public and private sectors and third parties like the international organizations. Local authorities must also adopt the right and practical technologies and aim to achieve global standards. On this note, I also place high hopes on private sectors to play a more vital role in supporting and realizing the National Smart Cities initiatives. They should not only promote solutions, but also able to impact people-centered technology, services, and knowledge. Effectively, this means that the rakyat are able to enhance their skills, knowledge, and abilities when they are familiarized with the technology. A proper smart city ecosystem would eventually support the economic competitiveness, such as being able to integrate e-commerce into their businesses, create digital jobs and opportunity, advance digital readiness among the citizens, and develop social models that promote social cohesion in order to encourage sustainable environmental practices. The Ministry of Housing and Local Government launched the Malaysia Smart City Framework during the last year's Cities 4.0 conference and exhibition to streamline and coordinate smart cities development in Malaysia. The framework is also to ensure a more informed guidelines and decision-making by the government, which takes the consideration views from all the relevant stakeholders. The emphasis towards making Malaysia's cities into smart cities will be one of the highlights in the 12th Malaysia Plan. Having cities that are sustainable and disaster ready is as important as we move towards Industry 4.0. My aim is to address all potential pain points in implementing smart city initiatives by deploying disruptive yet practical technologies and solutions to develop functional, resilient, and efficient systems in our cities. It is in this spirit that I see this conference as a good platform for extensive discussion and planning that will help us to face realities and overcome obstacles. I urge all of you to take this opportunity to participate actively and put forward your views and suggestions. Once again, I congratulate the co-organizers and supporters for their continuous efforts and successfully organizing this conference and exhibition for 3 consecutive years. I also want to commend MITE's commitments in bridging the public and private stakeholders in cities development, which plays an essential role to ensure that cities are in the quest to be smart and sustainable. I'm sure that the various stakeholders attending this 4-day event are excited to see the latest trend and strategies in mapping their smart cities roadmap. To end off, I wish you a very productive time at this Cities 4.0 conference and exhibition. I hope all of you will walk away with a better understanding and practical strategies in planning and developing more functional and sustainable cities of the future. On that note, I wish all of you the best, and I hereby officially declare open the Cities 4.0 conference and exhibition 2020. Wassalamualaikum. Thank you to all of you.